Hi, thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. In today's review, we're going to be taking a look at Neural DSP's Darkglass bass emulation plugin. This emulates the Darkglass B7K Ultra and Vintage Ultra pedal, preamp, whatever you want to call it, distortion boxes, and also comes with a cabinet simulation as well. If you haven't checked out Neural DSP's products, I'd highly recommend looking at everything that they offer. I use their Archetype Pliny plugin for all of the guitar tones on the track that I made leading into this video, and I think their stuff is just first class. It really sounds incredible, and it's, for the most part, pretty affordable. So all the bass tones that you hear on this little track were recorded with a trusty, old school Ibanez bass. I've had this one for, probably 20 years now or something ridiculous, coming up on it at least. And just direct right in, just recorded it and edited it real quick, direct into my DAW, and then pulled up the plugin and just started tinkering. Just started playing around till I was getting a tone that I felt really matched and balanced with the guitar signal. So whatever bass you happen to be using, I'm sure you're going to get absolutely fantastic tone out of it. So let's go jump over and we'll take a look at what I ended up doing to come up with the bass tones.
All right, welcome to my project file here in Digital Performer. I'm calling this track the Philadelphia Battle Axe. It was an old-timey newspaper here in Philly back in the day. I heard about it on the last podcast on the left. And I really like that title. I think I'm going to turn this into a whole new tune. Anyway, let's take a look at the Darkglass plugin. This is something that I've been missing from past productions. Our debut EP, Suds for Spuds, our bass player at the time had a Sans amp, and we just didn't get the tone that we were looking for because we're a metal band, and the tone we're looking for was really just a Darkglass pedal. And this plugin gets you there for really an affordable amount of money. I mean, the amount this plugin costs versus the actual pedal, and bang for buck and flexibility, especially in a production like this, is super cool. So the plugin's divided into basically two different pedals. You got the more aggressive sort of modern one, and then the more vintage one. And you can toggle back and forth just like that, super easy. And then across the top, you've got your main settings. You got your input, which you can, kind of dial, if you're too hot, roll it back, whatnot. The output, you got your modes. So if you've got a stereo signal, you could do it that way, or if it's just mono, just have it on mono. For me, it happens to be stereo because this was recorded in Reason. Anyway, oversampling, this is pretty cool too. So flip it down to low, save your computer some bandwidth while you're tracking, and then when you go to mix, then roll it up to high, or when you go to bounce, roll it up to high so you get best quality out of the plugin. I think that's super cool. And then you got your different, presets that you can create right here. And then output knobs. So if you're using it standalone to practice, you can dial this around so that you can balance it. Maybe if you're playing along with a rehearsal or with a take, getting ready for a gig, whatever it might be. I think that's really cool. All the Neural plugins have this, and it's pretty sweet. Then you got your cab sim. This is very flexible. I love the way all of the Neural plugins are set up for their cab sim. It's really straight ahead, super easy to tweak. You got your basic, normal microphones. You got a Shure SM57, another a Beta 52A, almost like a kick drum mic. All of these are, super famous. If you don't know what these mics are, just look them up. And you can even load your own custom, impulse response files, which is pretty cool too. I don't bother with that. I think the ones that it comes with from the factory or stock are great. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of play the bass in solo, and then I'll turn the plugin on and off, and actually let's go back to the pedal. And I'll just kind of tinker around with these settings so you can hear a little bit of what they're doing, and change back and forth between the difference between the modern one and the more vintage one. So here you go. And out of the vintage one. And back again. So this is super easy to tweak. I got a great tone out of it with very little effort. I feel like it blends and balances great against the guitars. I'm super happy with it. I'll also bypass the plugin so you can hear just what my direct in bass sounded like. So obviously it's doing a lot. It sounds great. Absolutely love it. I'll just kind of hit play again. I'll start tinkering with some of these settings so you can hear the differences that they make. I'll start actually with these little toggle switches because they do a lot, just changing the different EQ kind of slopes and how it's either boosting or cutting. And lastly, I'll just show you what the different microphones are sounding like. So basically I have two mics running. My thought process was I was using basically, this is like a Royer ribbon microphone, and I wanted to put it right on the cone to get sort of the edge or the aggression of the distortion, and then was trying to get sort of the body or the overall sort of low end from this side. So what's cool about this is you can just toggle them on and off so you can quickly hear what each one is doing and then kind of balance it from there. So this didn't take much tweaking. It really took, maybe 5-10 minutes messing around with it to get a tone that I thought worked great against the guitars. So here we go. So that's basically it. That's the plugin. There's not that much to it with just the pedal and the cab as far as complexity goes. You just have two main screens. And I find it very easy to use, and I can't even stress how excited I am for this particular plugin. This is going to finally get that bass tone that our productions have really been missing. We haven't really had a full-time bass player. We've been lucky enough to hire in different players for upcoming releases, which is great. But even then, it was like they were doing, like Killian Duarte played on one of our things, and he was using his Darkglass, and he just sent it to me, which is great. But obviously, if you have more flexibility, then I can really dial it in a way that I think works best with the guitar tones that I happen to be getting. So this is really going to bring things to the next level. If you're a bass player, or if you're in a band doing your own productions, or if you're your own, studio maybe, I can't stress how great this sounds on sort of modern rock, metal, even on lesser settings, where you're not really using the drive as hard. You're going to get a great just overall tone, basically from like the preamp nature of the pedal. So that is my thoughts on the Darkglass plugin. So thank you for watching. So just to wrap up, I'll play the track again, and I'll bring in rhythm guitars on their own, so you can kind of hear the bass against the rhythm guitar, because I think that's the most important thing. And the point of this whole plugin is that you can really dial it in to get the tones to mix. I mean, that's what makes mixing in the box so cool. You have that flexibility, especially since, for me, I'm using plugins for these as well. So it's like I can dive into the way that I'm mixing or the way that I'm dialing the head, and you're not like committed necessarily, in a reamping stage. I can really get it all dialed in and then maybe print it. So then because there's something to be said about like not tinkering endlessly, picking a tone and just kind of going with it. But sometimes it's hard to know, how much drive do I really need on the guitars? I think for our release, Push and Wait, and for our upcoming one called Mystics and Kings, I don't think I put enough gain on the guitars. So it would be really cool to just, now that we're closer to the end, or now that I hear the whole thing with vocals, I need a little bit more gain. That's what makes using plugins really cool like this, because it gives you that flexibility. So anyway, I'll shut up now and I'll play it along with the rhythm guitar. And with drums.
So thanks for checking out this video. I hope you guys got something out of it. Please hit like and subscribe and do all the other YouTube nonsense. And definitely stop by and check out our page if you get a chance, and check out some of our original music. We're an original progressive metal band, kind of in the vein of Pliny, sort of meets Between the Buried and Me, I guess. Sum it up real quick. Take it easy. Have a good day.